Hey everyone, welcome to the Hey Hannah podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Maya Fields, but to my friends and those who know me well, I'm just Maya. I'm a higher education administrator, a mother, and a wife of 14 amazing years. But above all, I'm a Christ follower. This podcast is a special platform created to honor the memory of my beloved daughter, Hannah. It's here that I have the chance to have the conversations that I never got to have with her, to share the wisdom and love I wish I could have passed on. It's a reminder to cherish the precious moments we're given and a testament to the power of healing, hope, and personal growth. If you're someone who's seeking personal growth, inspiration, and practical advice to build a solid foundation for a successful and fulfilling life, this is the place for you. Join me as we honor Hannah's memory together. Laugh, cry, and learn. Get ready for a podcast that is so much more than you could ever imagine. The Hey Hannah podcast, healing hearts, one conversation at a time. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle you know nothing about. Now imagine discovering that the colleague whose camera has been off all week has just lost her father, or that the student missing discussion board is grieving a cousin. The question is, how do we create work and classroom spaces where grief is met with compassion instead of awkward silence? Hey friends, I'm Dr. Maya, and this is the Hey Hannah podcast, where faith, parenting, and purposeful living intersect. Today's episode tackles a reality we can't sidestep. Grief doesn't pause for office hours or class schedules, so let's explore ways to support coworkers and students without sacrificing productivity or empathy. So, just digging a little bit into the literature around grief, grief costs U.S. companies over $100 billion annually. And that's really just in lost productivity. But employees who feel supported are more than two times more likely to stay with their organization. Now, when we switch our frame of thought over to our students, 1 in 8 college students reports the death of a loved one in any given semester. When leaders and peers respond well, we not only retain talent in students, we nurture whole human beings. So, as we frame our conversation today, I want to use this question for us. How can I acknowledge someone's loss without overstepping or sounding like HR copy and paste? We'll answer that in a 3-part series. So we'll talk about presence, policy, and practical tools. Now, part 1, jumping into presence. This is really, what do I say and what do I do? So what does this look like? Just for some context, if we were in an email or Microsoft Teams or Slack format, maybe some sample language that you can use to really help you to be present for someone to support them is, I was sorry to hear about your mom's passing. No need to reply. Just letting you know I'm thinking of you. A simple action that you could do to follow up with that is offer to handle one task on their list. A very small way just to show some empathy and show that you're thinking of someone without actually giving them a responsibility of something else to do. Just letting them know I'm thinking of you. Now, if we were in a different format, maybe a Zoom classroom or a meeting, some sample language you can use is, whenever you're ready to keep your camera off or step away, that's okay. A simple action that you can use to follow up with that is follow up privately with flexible deadlines. Again, we want to be intentional about supporting and showing up for people we work with, people we care about, and our students as well, because we want to make sure that we are supporting them as a whole person. Another context, if you're still in a brick and mortar building, you're on a campus, maybe you're in a hallway or you see someone in a meeting, something you could say is, I imagine this week feels heavy. I'm here if you need a breather. And maybe something that you could do to follow up is a coffee gift card or one of the comfort kits that we've talked about for a little bit. Maybe making one of those is just a simple action that you can use to give to that individual just to show them that you care. Now, we do want to avoid the at least language. We've talked about that for the last 2 episodes. Avoid the at least and everything happens for a reason. I know it can be default or kind of reflex language for some, but don't forget that language shrinks pain rather than shares it. So we want to avoid that, even though it can be, again, like a reflex. We want to maybe retrain our reflexes in this way. So now going on to part two, the policy. How can we advocate for structure that's going to support the people we love? The first thing is bereavement leave. Encourage HR to define days and extend flexibility for international or non traditional family structures. Grieving, loss, support, all of that looks different depending on your culture, where you're from. So, a great way to step in is really by advocating um, to HR for these individuals. Maybe academic extensions, if this is something that you're able to do as an educator. You can put a syllabus statement in your syllabus. It can be as simple as life events happen. Contact me for alternative timelines. No explanation needed. Very simple, one sentence, straight to the point, but also very supportive. Also, there are peer to peer support networks typically on campuses or in organizations. If you don't have any, this would be a good time to probably start one. So, maybe like employee resource groups or campus grief circles. Those are very helpful groups to have because they reduce isolation at scale. And that's what we want to do. It takes a network, a village to support people that we love. So, having those support networks are very important. Now, I love what Proverbs says in this particular scripture, Proverbs 11, and I pull this in just kind of thinking about what we're aiming to do when we're thinking about loving others well and supporting people. And it says, whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Um, Good policy, when we're talking about policy, advocating for structure, good policy is an institutional way of refreshing weary people. So whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. So hopefully you'll use that scripture to kind of propel you forward in advocating for structure for individuals we are supporting in grief. Now, part three, practical tools and resources. There are several resources. I've mentioned a few of these before, but they are worth mentioning again. Grief Share at Work. Sometimes they're a small group kit. For offices, if you don't have grief share at work, just to kind of help you kick those things off. There's national students of ailing mothers and fathers. There's chapters on various campuses. If you are on a campus, take a look and see if you have a chapter at your local campus that you can recommend to others. Modern Loss Workplace Handbook offers free guidelines for helping to support others through grief. And most organizations have an employee assistance program. Remind your team, remind others of how to access this resource for free counseling. I'll provide the links to these resources in the show notes. So that way, if you do need to go back and reference those, you'll be able to find them quickly. So one of our fan favorites so far in these past two episodes has been the quick fire Q&A. So I cannot leave it out this time. You know, the quick fire Q&A will go through three questions. How long before I can reassign projects? Ask the employee what feels doable next week. Let them set the pace and then revisit when you can. Another question, should I acknowledge the loss in front of the team? If the bereaved gives permission, yes. It keeps whispers from really filling the gap. It's not much you can do about water cooler talk or just chatter. There will be conversation about it, obviously. But if they're okay with it, it's fine to acknowledge the loss in front of the team. What if a student disappears? Send one compassionate email with specifics, not just tell me if there's anything I can do. So, a specific statement that you can send would be, I've extended the Unit 5 deadline to May 15th. Let me know if that helps. Then also, let's do a little bit of extra legwork here. Let's loop in student services so that way they are aware and they can possibly offer some additional resources from the university or the educational institution that you may not be aware of. Now, some common missteps we want to avoid: ghosting the individual after a week or two. Grief lingers long past condolence cards. We've talked about this the last two episodes when we're dealing with grief. Long after people have moved on, after casseroles have stopped, people are still grieving. So make sure that you are intentional about showing up, offering that support, just letting them know that you are thinking of them. One size fits all leave. This is another common misstep you want to avoid. Different faiths and cultures have unique mourning rituals. You want to be aware of this and make sure that if we can offer some flexibility there, that we're doing it. It's just another way to love other people well. The third misstep to avoid is productivity guilt trips. Something like, take care of yourself, but we really need that report. It sends mixed signals and it adds unnecessary stress because typically what people are going to do is they will, when you say take care of yourself, but we really need the report, take care of yourself just kind of went out of the window because the stress signals went up. You still need a report from them. So they're working on getting those things done. And of course, that adds more stress during an already difficult time. Remember, compassion and confidence are not mutually exclusive. I hope that this is something that's been evident through our quick conversation. But when we care well, we often see higher engagement, loyalty, and even creativity in the long run. Supporting grief isn't a detour from our mission, it's a part of sustaining it. So, what I want you to do this week, just a little call to action for you, is pick one idea from the day. Maybe add a grief statement to your syllabus or share the policy template with HR and post a quick note of your action on LinkedIn or social media pages with grief aware workplace and tag at Hey Hannah Podcast. I always share a few examples this week to also inspire others. Now, looking ahead, our next episode will spotlight navigating milestone days, birthdays, holidays, and anniversaries after loss. Hit follow so you don't miss strategies to handle those emotional landmines. Also, grab the free workplace grief toolkit and student bereavement syllabus statement in the show notes. If today's conversation helped, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback surfaces this show to leaders searching for grief support at work. And we want to get this information out as much as we can, far and wide so we can continue to support others. Now, remember, people over projects, hearts before homework. Be the kindness your coworker or student needs today. Until next time, everybody, take care.
And that's it. I'm out of here.
Much for joining us on this episode of the Hey Hannah podcast. We hope that you found inspiration, insight, and encouragement in our conversation today. If you enjoyed this episode and want to stay connected with us, be sure to like, subscribe, and review the Hey Hannah podcast. Your feedback helps us reach more people and spread our message of love and wisdom. You can also follow us on social media at Hey Hannah Podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to stay updated on all the latest episodes, behind-the-scenes exclusives, and engaging content. And for those of you who prefer the visual experience, catch the video versions of our podcast on our YouTube channel. Just search Hey Hannah Podcast and hit that subscribe button to never miss an episode. For even more Hey Hannah goodness, visit our website at www.heyhannahpodcast.com. There you'll find updates, bonus content, and join a community that embraces you with open arms. Your continued support truly means the world to us. Together, let's spread love, share wisdom, and honor every precious moment. Because here at Hey Hannah, we believe that life is meant to be lived well. Remember, a new episode of the Hey Hannah podcast is released every Wednesday, so mark your calendars and be sure to tune in. Thank you again for being a part of Hannah's Hive. Until next time, take care.
entertainment.